Hello and welcome. Behind me is my 2022 Ford F250 Super Duty Tremor, and you see here specifically the Chassis Unlimited Octane Series rear bumper with the two swing arms. The bumper is made from solid steel. It really feels sturdy and solid, so when you close the swing arms you can tell that this is a high quality steel, and yeah, it provides the functionality that I was looking for. So the main reason for me was really the ability to carry extra weight in form of this spare tire. So the spare tire here is an oversized 37-inch spare tire, and Ford does not provide the ability to put this tire underneath where usually the spare tire is mounted. So when I decided to go with larger tires on this truck, that was one of the concerns I had, and so I landed on the idea of having a rear bumper with two swing arms. And yeah, the Octane Series bumper from Chassis Unlimited is where I settled for. My plans have slightly changed and I will be removing this bumper, but that does not really impact my opinion about the bumper from a quality perspective and the functionality that it provides. So why did I like this bumper really? So I mentioned the functionality, I mentioned the high quality. It's also low key in a certain way. You can see here from the rear, it fits nicely with the trim of the Super Duty, and that was a really very important part for me. Also, the bumper is powder coated, so it's protected from rusting, and even with scratches or so, it's like, yeah, you need to put some force in here to stretch this bumper. The other functionality that the bumper has is the two light openings or light output openings. There I have Diode Dynamics 3-inch stage series lights in there. They are connected to my Switch Pros 9100 inside the truck, so I can turn those on with two stages. So there's the bright setting and then the low light setting, but that's really a minor detail. So that's the functionality of the bumper, and so that's about the I want to say the positive side of this bumper. Let's talk about the cons. Like with every product, it's not perfect, and there are some limitations here. So for one, the swing out arms, I like them, I like the functionality, but you can already see they stick out quite a bit. And when you're parked in tight places or a regular parking lot at a supermarket and you want to put something into the bed of the truck, well, you have a problem because the arms swing out quite a bit. Let me go around here so that you can see it from the front of the truck. So you can see how much the arms stick out. And I had a situation where a car that was parked next to me did not pay attention and almost crashed into or hit my spare tire. And I mean, I noticed that I was standing there, so I folded it in. But yeah, that's one of those situations where yeah, it takes a lot more space and you have to park in different places when you do this. What is missing from this bumper really is that functionality that the swing arm would have a second opening. So where it is right now, let me just, so where it is right now, you can see the opening, and that's the only hole available for this lock. So it would be nice if there would be another hole further up here so that you can have like a 90-degree angle. Yes, the spare tire would still stick out, but so do the mirrors. And that would help with avoiding certain situations in tight parking spots. So that's one of the cons that I have with this bumper. The second con that I have is the release button. So the release button here, you push this. So the problem that I have with the release button, when you look at it right now, it's just difficult to get to the release button. So it's down there. Now I have to push the release button, push the tire in just a little bit. So I'm going to push the swing arm in a little bit. I push the release button, pull the tire out a little bit. Now I go to this lever here, pull it up, and now the swing arm can come out and it locks in place. So my hands are pretty dirty. That's just the natural part of the spare tire, but there's nothing really where you can easily get this without black fingers. The other thing really is that, yeah, it's difficult to get to. So if you would have a storage box on the swing arm, then it's the same problem, that it's just difficult to get to. The next con for this bumper is, and I noticed it after, and for me it's not a big deal because I don't have this problem. So the problem is, if you don't have the spare tire in the back just like I do, there's no opening here. This is where the opening would be on the stock bumper to actually lower the spare tire. So right now, if I would have anything hoisted underneath where the spare tire is, I could not lower it. And well, my spare tire I knew was too big, so I didn't even have it there. But if you install the bumper first and then want to get to your spare tire, well, you're out of luck. So there's no opening. When I talked to the manufacturer, they didn't even plan for it. Their assumption is that you will always carry a spare tire, and that is fine. But in general, I would think like it might be helpful just to have this. Not everyone buys this rear bumper for carrying a spare tire. So the next con that I have is the lights for the license plate. So these two items sticking out, those are actually LED lights, and they provide the lighting for the license plate. The stock bumper has lights here and lights here, and that would be something I'd like to see for this bumper too. For one, these are very flimsy, plus if you would step up here to get onto the bed, the risk is very high that you damage those lights and they break off. The problem is you have to go underneath and behind to put the screw in and the nut to tighten these lights. And the wiring is also very flimsy, so these are not very good. I already had to replace one. This is the original one that came with the bumper. This is the one I bought from Amazon. They're not expensive, but it's just not a great solution. And my last con for this bumper really is the cutouts for the lights in the rear. So I have Diode Dynamics 3-inch Stage 3 series ports in here, and yeah, they don't fit great into the bumper. So it's like they're angled up at the moment, and I never really went back after installing it to find a better solution. I did not want to have a gap of too much here, but you can see how it is angled up, and that's really not the way it should be. If I move them backwards and have them flat or straight, they will not be flush against the bumper, and then you have a gap in there, and that's really, in my opinion, not a good design. So I wish this would be a little bigger, and the metal that is underneath here, that makes it difficult to mount the lights flush from the inside. So besides the cons, I mean, the bumper really otherwise is a great product. The problems that I had with this bumper, and where I was really fighting and struggling with Chassis Unlimited, was really the way how the company handled the production, the communications. So there was no great communications at all. I had to reach out many times to find out, okay, when is the bumper actually being shipped? Initially I was told 5 to 6 weeks. I ordered around Thanksgiving, so I was waiting for like the first week of January, and nothing happened. Then I reached out, and then I was told, oh, another 1 or 2 weeks. Then I reached out again because I didn't hear anything. Oh yeah, it's on its way to powder coating. I reached out again after that was supposed to be completed, and again and again and again, and it took till the end of February that the bumper was finally delivered. Then when I got the bumper and I checked everything, well, there was no hardware to install the bumper. So I had to reach out again, wait for the hardware to be delivered, just to then go and see, okay, now what can we do with it? When I tried to install the bumper, I did not find any instructions. There were no instructions online, there was nothing in the boxes. It was really just a difficult situation. So I used some other videos of bumper installations just to get an idea of how a bumper needs to be installed. The brackets were supposed to be mixed, so not only for use on an F250 but also on other vehicles. So the additional holes that the brackets potentially had, nothing was indicating that these were needed on the F250 installation that I have here. So when I installed the bumper and really put all the hardware in, tightened everything, guessing kind of how much torque to put down, I installed the bumper, and yeah, after driving just a little bit, the bumper started sagging. And that was very frustrating. I reached out to customer support, and yeah, customer support was not very helpful. So the gentleman I talked to was just making recommendations. So customer service made some suggestions, and you can see here on the pictures there are quite a few holes, and I started following the advice or instructions that came from customer service just to see that the bumper was still not sitting properly, and it was still being pulled down a little bit by the weight of the spare tire. So here you can see the bracket from Chassis Unlimited on the frame of my Ford F250. If you look at the holes where the bolts are coming through, you can see that those holes are way too big. The gray or silver screws or bolts that you actually see here, those are the ones that came from Ford, the original Ford hardware that was used to mount the Ford bumper. In the lower right-hand corner, you see a brass colored type of bolt, which is actually smaller than the one that I just pointed out, the ones for Ford. So the brass colored ones are the ones that came from Chassis Unlimited, so they're even smaller. If you look at all these holes, it's no wonder that the bumper was sagging, because with these bolts and those holes being so big, you needed immense force really to tighten the bracket and once the bumper was mounted, to stay in place. I ultimately got it to work, but you can just see this is just causing problems, especially with zero instructions and basically no support from Chassis Unlimited. Yeah, very frustrating. So I did not get any communication again from customer service and became frustrated. So I wrote the owner of the company, and well, he responded, I want to say right away. I emailed Sunday night. Monday morning I got a call from him, and yeah, we discussed the situation, and then he provided additional installation instructions, apologized. So, and I installed the bumper, and right now the bumper is completely solid installed. I had to drill additional holes into the frame and in the hitch to really get everything installed. I have to say the bumper is not sitting 100% straight. That is my mistake, or I want to say it's really what happened based on the very first advice from customer service, where they had me drill a hole, and yeah, that kind of misaligned, and so the bumper is not 100% straight. It is solid, it's not moving, so that I verified. I can live with the gap here. I notice it because I installed it, but other people I talked to, it's like, oh, I would have not noticed unless I would have told them. So the bumper itself really is a good product. The installation instructions are crap because there are none. Customer service, according to the owner, they grew really fast, and so customer service was something that was not necessarily money and time invested in. So hopefully they are improving that part of their business. But that was really one of the biggest issues. No instructions. Then customer service didn't know what they were doing, giving me bad advice. I had holes drilled in here, and yeah, that kind of locked in a bad situation. For me, it was difficult. I'm not a pro, but I have fairly good tools and everything. But yeah, with the bad advice, and when I installed the bumper and drilled the holes without the spare tire on, the bumper sat straight. Yeah, so that's the review of the Chassis Unlimited Octane bumper. That's the rear bumper with the two swing-out arms. Again, I like the product from an overall quality perspective. There are a couple of cons that I can live with. They worked fine for me. It's not a big deal, except for maybe the license plate lights. But yeah, the communication or miscommunication and the bad customer service, the missing set of instructions, that's really a turnoff for me. And that's really the only thing I would say is, like, they make good-looking products. I think the majority of the products that they make are for Chevy and Ram. But in general, it's like, if you want to order products from them, make sure you get instructions and have that level of detail available, because I did not have it, and I'm kind of paying the price in a way that the bumper is not 100% level. But yeah, again, for me, that's not a big deal, because I'm gonna change the way how this entire truck looks like. Right now, you will see it with the regular bed and the bumper. Everything will come off. I'm putting a flatbed on and additional storage boxes. So that is not done by myself. That goes way past my skill set. Plus, I don't have the tools to lift the bed off and put a flatbed on. But that's the idea behind it right now. So otherwise, I would just move on, live with this bumper, because it provides that functionality that I needed. But yeah, that's the situation for me. This truck will look very different soon, and yeah, I'm very excited about the changes that are coming. So that's it for the review. I hope you liked this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so as well. And then I would say I'll see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.